As we stand on the precipice of taking this city back from corrupt politicians and the billionaires that fund them, let our words ring out so loud tonight that Andrew Cuomo can hear them in his $8,000 a month apartment. Let them ring so loud so that he can hear us even if he's in Westchester this evening. Let them ring so loud that his puppet master in the White House hears us. New York is not for sale. Together, New York, we're going to freeze the... Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and... Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal... We will make our city one where every person who calls it home can live a dignified life. Yesterday, Andrew Cuomo laughed and agreed when a radio host said that I would cheer another 9/11. I want to speak to the memory of my aunt. Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab. More than 1 million Muslims in this city existing all while being made to feel as if we are guests in our own home. No more.
I look forward to being a mayor for every single person that calls this city home. Not just those who voted for me in the Democratic primary, not just those that vote for me in this general election, but all 8.5 million New Yorkers. And that includes Jewish New Yorkers who may have concerns or opposition to the positions that I've shared about Israel and Palestine. You will hear from Andrew Cuomo about his experience as if the issue is that we don't know about it. The issue is that we have all experienced your experience. The issue is that we experienced you taking a $5 million book deal while you sent seniors to their deaths in nursing homes. The issue is that we experienced you cutting funding for the MTA to send money to upstate ski resorts. The issue is that we saw you give $959 million in tax breaks to Elon Musk. The issue is your experience.
I, like many New Yorkers, am hopeful that this ceasefire will hold. I'm hopeful that it is durable. I'm hopeful that it is just. And for it to be just, we also have to ensure that it addresses the conditions that preceded this, conditions like occupation, like the siege, and apartheid. Eric Adams dropped out of the mayor's race yesterday, and a lot of the focus has been on the question of the impact it may have on Election Day, what it means for the horse race. And what it loses sight of is that for New Yorkers who are struggling to afford the most expensive city in the United States of America, nothing has changed. Andrew Cuomo is Donald Trump's choice to be the next mayor of this city. Today's news that the White House is considering job offers for Eric Adams and Curtis Sliwa, it is not news that carries meaning because of any impact it will have on this race. We feel just as confident as we did yesterday that we will win this race in November. This is, however, about an affront to our democracy. An affront to what makes so many of us proud to be Americans. That we choose our own leaders. Not that they get to pick themselves. Not that they get to be picked by the President of the United States. We are standing in front of Federal Plaza, the very site where New Yorkers are being stolen, whether from their families, their friends, or from the city that they call home. It is at this very site that we understand the cost of this news, that former Governor Cuomo has been conspiring with President Trump about the fate of this city, about the future of this city, about the facts of this race. It is knowledge that is a betrayal of everything that we stand for as New Yorkers. Last November, New York City saw some of the biggest shifts towards Donald Trump of anywhere in the country. Much of it took place in working class and immigrant neighborhoods. A few days after the election, we went to Hillside Avenue in Queens and Fordham Road in the Bronx, not to lecture, but to listen. And what we heard was a desire to bring down the cost of living. That was our focus, and many of those voters came back. The headline is clear. We can win back voters many have written off if we give them something to vote for, not just tell them what to be against. Conventional wisdom says the left can only win low turnout elections. We rewrote the rule book by, get this, talking to New Yorkers. Politics in this city won't ever be the same, and it's all thanks to you. The next chapter begins today, New York. In the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. My friends, we have done it. I will be your Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City. We have won from Harlem to Bay Ridge, from Jackson Heights to Port Richmond. We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford, a city where they can do more than just struggle, where hard work is repaid with a stable life, where rent-stabilized apartments are actually stabilized, where buses are fast and free, where childcare doesn't cost more than CUNY, and where public safety keeps us truly safe. And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism, to stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors.
To Mr. Cuomo, I have never had to resign in disgrace. I have never cut Medicaid. I have never stolen hundreds of millions of dollars from the MTA. I have never hounded the 13 women who credibly accused me of sexual harassment. I have never sued for their gynecological records, and I have never done those things because I am not you, Mr. Cuomo. And furthermore, the name is Mamdani, M-A-M-D-A-N-I. You should learn how to say it because we got to get it right. My name is Assemblymember Zohran Mamdani, and I am running to make the city affordable. I'll freeze the rent for millions of tenants, make buses fast and free, and deliver universal childcare. And before you ask, I'll pay for it by taxing the rich.
Starbucks had agreed, they had made a commitment, a public commitment, that they would be offering a fair contract to workers. And instead, what they've offered are 50-cent raises, by and large, across the board. This is all while they're paying their CEO more than $110 million. A CEO who takes a company private jet to get to and from work much of the time. All while these same workers are being told there's not enough money for them to actually be paid what they're worth. And what these workers are showing today is that if they withhold their labor as a result of an unfair labor practice, then these stores will not be able to function. And therefore, it makes it very clear to New Yorkers whose labor is actually critical to Starbucks. We gather tonight in the wealthiest city, in the wealthiest country, in the history of the world. And it is unlivable for the working class who built it. This is a quiet, grinding crisis that doesn't just play out in dollars and cents, but in lost sleep, anxiety, and shame, in homelessness, and even in death. For others, it is the fading dream of raising a family in the neighborhood they love. The cost of living isn't just the result of unaccountable market forces. Our elected officials aren't just bystanders. These are choices. And at almost every opportunity, Eric Adams has chosen to make this city more expensive for the people who keep it running. But I believe New Yorkers are hungry for a vision that puts their needs and aspirations at the very heart of government. And that is why I stand before you as a candidate for New York City mayor.
I just got off the debate stage. I won the debate again. But this is a battle. Up until November 4th, we got to get the vote out. We've got to start early voting this Saturday. I'm going to be the first to vote because our mission that I've shared with all of you is to make New York City safe again, to have affordability again, and naturally to give everyone an opportunity at the American dream. But the only way we can do that is if you come out and vote. You get your friends and neighbors and others to vote. And you got to start Saturday with early voting right on up to November 4th. We can win this, we can save the city, and we can prove the naysayers, billionaires, and influencers wrong. Because I'm not dropping out. We're moving to be victorious on November 4th.
I hear some people out there saying the Jews, their time is due, which means the same thing. They're frightened, they're scared. They view you as the arsonist who fanned the flames of anti-Semitism. They cannot suddenly accept the fact that you're coming in like a firefighter and you're going to put out these flames. You've got a lot of explaining to do, a lot of apologizing to do.
If there was a ranked choice election, how would you vote, Mr. Mamdani?
If there was a ranked choice election?
In this. You'd have to rank these.
Myself, number one, and Curtis, number two.
Mr. Sliwa.
Oh, please don't be glazing me here, Zohran.
Andrew, you didn't leave. You fled from being impeached by the Democrats in the state legislature. Leave. You fled.
Would any of you accept Mayor Adams' endorsement? Mr. Mamdani.
No.
Mr. Cuomo.
Yes, I would.
Mr. Sliwa.
Absolutely not. Put that crook in jail where he belongs.
Eric Adams, this city of yes is on steroids, and he went wild taking care of his developer friends as he knew he would be one and done. I told you he was corrupt. I told you there would be chaos, and I warned you in 2021. My adversaries have decided to bump chests with President Trump to prove who's more macho. You can't beat Trump. He holds most of the cards. He's already cut federal funding for Medicaid, for the SNAP program, and is threatening to cut funds for NYCHA. So if you're all of a sudden going to get adversarial, you're going to lose. And who gets hurt? The people of New York City.
Curtis Sliwa exceeds all expectations and looks very mayoral tonight.
We'll leave it on that light note. Thank you, candidates, for a spirited debate. We thank you as well.
Thank God I'm not a professional politician, because they have helped create this crime crisis in the city that we face, and I will
Thank you, Mr. Sliwa.
In your first official call with the president to set the tone for your relationship moving forward.
We have Andrew Cuomo, we have Zohran Mamdani. They want to take on Donald Trump. Look, you can be tough, but you can't be tough if it's going to cost people desperately needed federal funds.
I'm sorry, when
It's a debate of three. Excuse me, Andrew. It's a debate of three. Do we acknowledge? But you seem, Zohran, to be incapable of praising our president. And Andrew, you were incapable of praising our president.
Gentlemen, we have
Give credit where credit is due. He's brought peace to Gaza. If you were going to send the National Guard, you don't need to send them to New York City. There are other cities that could desperately use their help in dealing with their crime crisis. You negotiate with them. You don't fight with them, because only the people of New York City will lose. We need to protect the migrants who are workers, who are essential workers, and use ICE to go after the drug dealers, the gangbangers, the sexual predators, and those who are sex trafficking and involved in narco-terrorism.
I'm tired of the fear, fright, hysteria that's going to lead to flight. Every time you mention Zohran Mamdani, grown men, grown women, oh, Curtis, what are we going to do? I'm a street warrior. Let me tell you, I've been in a lot of dangerous situations around the world. If you show one iota of fear, your enemy will persevere. We must fight this. And the only way you do that is to show courage in your ability to get out to vote, get into the streets, knock on doors, bring your neighbors to the polls. Because I'm not dropping out. I'm fighting to the end. Now, are you going to be like John Paul Jones? I have not yet begun to fight. Or are you going to continue to be gripped in hysteria, fear, fright, and begin your flight? I'm going to stay and fight for what I know is right. And I'm going to be your next mayor. And if you're ready to fight, then you get out to vote for me.
I know a lot of people have laughed at me, said, oh, you're quite eccentric or crazy to have 17 rescue cats in a 328-square-foot apartment right here in the Upper West Side. But as Gandhi said, go ahead, laugh at Gandhi. Gandhi said, a society that does not treat its animals well will not treat its human beings well. And we can see that as emotionally disturbed persons and homeless people have been kicked to the curb. They're living in our parks, they're living in our subways, they're living in our streets in inhumane conditions. And that's the other key platforms. That ain't happening. I'm compassionate, I'm caring. We're going to rescue the emotionally disturbed and the homeless and the dogs, cats, and animals who get slaughtered. I have to hang up the beret. I'll no longer be wearing the beret. In fact, I got to get used to this. I got to grow some hair, because that's part of the reason I always wear the red beret. So actually, becoming mayor and saving New York City is more important than wearing this red beret. Far more important than wearing this red beret.
What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed?
If you want to be in government, then you have to be serious and mature. There were allegations of sexual harassment. They were then went to 5 district attorneys, fully litigated for 4 years. The cases were dropped, right? You know that as a fact. So everything you just said was a misstatement, which we're accustomed to from you.
Everything that I stated was a misstatement?
Yes, because the cases were dropped.
You will hear from Andrew Cuomo about his experience as if the issue is that we don't know about it. The issue is that we have all experienced your experience. The issue is that we experienced you taking a $5 million book deal while you sent seniors to their deaths in nursing homes. The issue is that we experienced you cutting funding for the MTA to send money to upstate ski resorts. The issue is that we saw you give $959 million in tax breaks to Elon Musk. The issue is your experience.
I was governor for 11 years. The budget is double what it is in New York City, and I got government to work. I passed groundbreaking laws, minimum wage, paid family leave, built projects that had never been built before. This is no job for on-the-job training.
To put a person in this seat at this time with no experience is reckless and dangerous.
I have never had to resign in disgrace. I have never cut Medicaid. I have never stolen hundreds of millions of dollars from the MTA. I have never hounded the 13 women who credibly accused me of sexual harassment. I have never sued for their gynecological records, and I have never done those things because I am not you.
The assemblyman will not denounce Hamas. The assemblyman will not denounce Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. The assemblyman just said in his response, well, it depends on occupation. That is code, meaning that Israel does not have a right to exist as a Jewish state, which he has never acknowledged. That is from the river to the sea. If you believe the existential threat is Mamdani, which I do, and Mayor Adams does, and Jim Walden did, and Curtis Sliwa said he did, well, then what should be most important is defeating Mr. Mamdani. So if you're not the strongest candidate, step aside. I am in it to win it. My opponent, Mr. Mamdani, offers slick slogans, but no real solutions. We need a city with lower rent, safer streets, where buying your first home is once again possible, where childcare won't bankrupt you. That's the New York City we know. That's the one that is still possible. You haven't given up on it, and you deserve a mayor with the experience and ideas to make it happen again. We need more police in our subways, more police in our high crime areas, more police to stop the number of recidivists. Because nothing works if people don't feel safe, and public safety is still job one. And they made it worse, supporting these democratic socialist candidates that released a wave of anti-Semitism throughout our city, which has been toxic to this city. And New York is better than this. In the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of the frenzy, where nursing homes are shorthanded and they're working to save lives, to ask them to go through an accounting process wasn't the best use of time. The total number never changed, and that's what was most important. And we said when we do an audit of the individual categories, we will release the individual category numbers. So that was always clear that the total death number was right, but we had to do the allocation within the categories.